My name is Edmund Vine. I'm the Director of Sales and Marketing here at Agriteer. I was always taught that people do business with people they know, like, and trust. Today, I want to give our customers an opportunity to meet Josh Hahn, our Vice President of Operations. So I thought we'd run through a few questions, get to know Josh a little bit better, and his role and how he fits here at Agriteer. So Josh, if you would, give us a little bit of background about where you're from, where you came from, a little bit of your past.
From Lancaster County, grew up around this area, over closer to Five Pointville, small little town.
Mm-hmm.
And I went to a small Christian school, Hinkletown Mennonite, kindergarten through 8th grade. Then graduated from Conestoga Christian School in 2008.
Did you grow up on a farm or around machinery of any kind?
My grandfather would have had a farm in Mannheim area that my mom would have grown up. So they did dairy farming, so she grew up milking cows, and I had cousins that also are dairy farmers. So I was exposed to farming throughout my years, but never grew up on a farm.
So what would have taken you from growing up with your family's cabinet business to transition into the agricultural industry?
I was always drawn to heavier equipment. It was something that I was always fascinated with, and at home, my parents would have got me, like the toy tractors, and
Right.
I just remember playing with those as a kid and just being drawn to large equipment. I worked for my family's business. My grandpa had started a cabinetry business back in the 1960s, and just really had grown throughout the years, and was a business that I actually dreamed about being a part of someday.
Okay.
Went to college and learned business management with the thought of stepping into that business. Yeah, I guess through different contacts I made throughout the years, getting different opportunities, I was drawn to Binkley & Hurst at that time. It was before Agriteer.
Yeah.
Met up with Don Hoover and started my career here, and just really have enjoyed the customer base and the people that work here. The people are what really just keep on driving me here, because we have good people. We really do.
You met Don Hoover, who at that time was the president of Binkley & Hurst,
Mm-hmm.
and you came to work for Binkley & Hurst. What role were you in with Binkley & Hurst?
I was originally hired to be a GPS salesperson.
Okay.
At that point, GPS was becoming a bigger part of agriculture,
Mm-hmm.
and we were retrofitting older pieces of equipment to have
Right.
guidance on it. That's what I was hired to do. It was about 6 months in after being hired for that position that a spot in the service department opened up for a parts pooler.
Okay.
And I was tapped on the shoulder to take that position, and I had no clue what it was going to look like. I didn't have much of a thought of where I was going to go from there, but
Right.
it was a need that opened up, and I was willing to jump in, and I felt at peace about going there. I did that for, I don't know, it was probably 6 months or so, and there was service administrators that were taking vacation.
Okay.
So phones were ringing, and there wasn't enough of people to take the calls, so they're like, hey, jump on the phone and just start taking some phone calls for us.
So you're pulling parts for this group and just kind of running back and forth between parts and service. Now
Right.
all of a sudden you're thrown into this role of supporting customers. You'd probably done a little bit of that in the GPS route, talking with customers. So
Right,
that wasn't
right.
foreign. Just talking about that particular product from the service and management standpoint.
There was a learning curve there, and I didn't always get it right. That was one thing nice about our customer base, is they were usually pretty generous towards me, even if I didn't know everything.
So you transitioned from pulling parts, going back and forth, had a taste of being in the service department.
Mm-hmm.
What happened next?
I was in that role for a little while, where I started doing more administrative work for the service department, and as time went on, some of the service administrators there saw that I had that administrative gifting or management gifting,
Okay.
and I just got more and more things handed to me on the management side of the service department, and just began to continue growing there. I think the next step was assistant service manager to Dale Hurst, and then Dale wanted to move that on to me later on, so eventually became the service manager for the latest location here.
What did you enjoy the most about being a service manager?
Some of the highlights were working with our customers. We got to develop a good relationship with a lot of our customers, and it was fun when they would call in and you would have that relationship build up,
Yep.
and you could work from that. I also enjoy working with the people, the service technicians. They really are the backbone to our dealership. So they're the faces to the customers when they're in need, and
That's right.
they're there to take care of them. So I remember that being a pretty big part of it too.
Okay, so you're a service manager with Binkley and Hurst for an extended period of time. How long was that? Were you a service manager with Binkley?
My time in the service department was around 6 to 7 years.
Okay.
Management might have been more, like four of those years.
And then you transitioned to be a vice president of operations. Walk me through that transition and how that's been for you.
When Weaver and Binkley and Hurst were in conversations about creating Agriteer,
Right.
I would have been invited onto that team when there was a pretty good idea that this was actually going to happen. So I wasn't part of the leadership team at Binkley and Hurst up until that point, but
Okay.
I was graciously invited into that process by the leadership team of Binkley and Hurst.
So when the two companies started talking, there was a team involved in these discussions, and you were invited into that team to work with them.
That's right. Yeah. So there was 3 individuals selected from the Binkley and Hurst side, and then 3 from Weaver. So I was one of the 3 that we called ourselves the planning team over that time.
Oh, nice.
So my role with the transition team or the planning team, we met with advisors and met a lot of different attorneys and accountants and those types of individuals as we processed creating Agriteer. That time extended for right around 9 months, 10 months that I was personally a part of those meetings, that we planned out what Agriteer was going to look like.
So stepping into the vice president of operations role, you were able to see kind of a plan from the bigger picture, from the beginning of what the company's objective was, goals were, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And you may be even involved in creating those objectives.
Yeah. One of the biggest things as we were looking at both Binkley and Hurst and Weaver, and saying where is Agriteer going to go?
Mm-hmm.
What are we going to be known as? What's going to be maybe another way of saying it is, where are we going to plant our flag? We ask the customer who Agriteer is. What do we want to be known as? As we discussed that as a team, and this was a pretty big discussion, but we really saw ourselves as being a leader in service, a leader in bringing good parts, good service to our community.
Right.
Because we felt like that was an area that we could really distinguish ourselves in the market, and it was a passion of who we are as both organizations and what we wanted to be known as.
It's really interesting you say that, because at the time where you guys were having these discussions,
Mm-hmm.
I was working as a sales rep for one of the manufacturers for AGCO. And I saw that in both of the dealerships.
Mm-hmm.
If you had asked me 5 years ago, what are the similarities within these two companies, I would have said the passion for the customer.
Yeah.
At all levels. I worked mostly with the sales team, but I saw a passion for the customers from the sales team, and then throughout, as I began to meet more people over the years in parts and service, I saw just a passion for serving and supporting the customers. So it's interesting that you guys were uncovering or are realizing the similarity and the focus and the foundation of this company.
Yeah.
Whereas me on the outside looking in was able to see that same thing.
Right, and that's something that I'm really passionate about myself, is as we look to serve our customers, as we look to serve the community, that is the bedrock that makes people feel valued and feel like we are a part of their team, a part of their business and what they're doing.
Yeah.
And it's contagious. So
Yeah, very much so.
I think as we go forward as Agriteer, that is something that's going to be the bedrock to how we do business.
Tell us a little bit more about your role as a vice president of operations. What does a day-to-day look like? What are some of your objectives, some of your day-to-day activities?
Part of the director team here at Agriteer. The directors travel on Tuesdays and Thursdays, so I'm a part of that travel time, traveling to each of our satellite locations outside of Lidditz and Leola. I always like to make sure I'm connecting with the people while I'm at a location. I like to know what's going on, if there's things that we need to deal with as a director team, or things that we need to be hearing. I do try to probe into that while I'm at a location.
Right.
And really enjoy hearing from our people. More specifically, I do manage our assets here at Agriteer, so all our vehicles and our capital expense plan and those types of things, I would help in getting arranged and presenting it to the director team for a final decision. Also, working with the location leaders at each location on different projects that they have going on, managing that.
One of the best things I think that we do here at Agriteer, and this is driven by our president, Eugene Hurst, he really encourages us to make sure we're visiting other locations.
Mm-hmm.
As a multi-location store, it's easy to stay in your office, stay in your single location, and if that's your only focus, you miss out on what else is going on at other stores.
Mm-hmm.
It keeps us engaged with that store. So when our director team meets every 2 weeks, we give a report on what's happening at the other stores, situations, issues that arise, how we need to address them, what's happening. We bring that to the table and we discuss it and figure out what's best for the whole company overall. In your opinion, what makes Agriteer unique in the marketplace?
Well, I think I alluded to it earlier on when we were talking about when we were getting together to design Agriteer and what Agriteer is going to look like. But I really do believe that our exceptional service is unique, what we bring to the market. The other thing that I just find really unique about Agriteer is our people. We have quality people here that care about the customer and care about other employees. You know, you have a team that is passionate about similar things, and the fact that we hire good quality individuals that care about the team, care about customers, and we're passionate about that. We have a good hiring process. We make sure we're getting the right people.
You and I were talking recently, and it came down to how do we get this team working together? How do we have the right individuals in the right place to build the team and to focus on that? So I love that you say this, but also in conversations with you, I know that you're trying to build that. That's not just what you're saying, it's what you're doing on a daily basis. And when you approach any of our locations in Agriteer as a whole, you're looking at how do we build this whole team up? How do we grow this company and the people within it? Josh, as we close the conversation and wrap up this discussion, is there anything you'd want to say to our customers, just to let them know a little bit more about you or about Agriteer?
To our customers, I just want to say thank you. Thank you guys for trusting Agriteer to assist you in your businesses. Each one of you running your own farm operation, it's a business, and you need good companies coming beside you to help you out. So thank you for trusting Agriteer in that way to further your business along. I hope that we can continue earning your trust in the future.
I'm Edmund Bine. This is Josh Hahn. Thank you very much for your time. We look forward to serving you soon.